Hi, my name's Dr Rebecca Huntley. I'm a researcher on attitudes to climate change and the author of How to Talk About Climate Change in a Way That Makes a Difference. It's a real pleasure to be asked to do this very short and sharp video about how to talk about climate change for Greenpeace's Solutions Hub. I mean, I think I'm probably the least interesting thing on this hub. There's going to be some fantastic content on it, but to the extent that I'm helpful, I'm going to give you 5 basic principles about how to talk about climate change to friends, family, colleagues, and anybody you meet on the street. So the first principle, as always, with all good communication, understand your audience. Where are they coming from? How do they feel about the issue of climate change? Is it something that they're really concerned about, marginally concerned about, try not to think about? And that requires really listening, lots of open questions and understanding, how they've approached this issue in the past and, looking for opportunities to start a conversation that's going to be productive and really make the right connection. Second, encourage discussion. I know that sounds a bit boring, but it is really critically important. The research shows that most people don't talk about climate change. They don't raise it. It's not because they're concerned about it, but they have lots of barriers to talking about it. I don't know enough about the science. I don't want to piss people off. I'm not that kind of person. I don't want to be a pushy political person. And I don't know how, if I raise it, how that's going to be, what kind of reaction I'm going to get. So I often find that if I can have a conversation with somebody about climate change that doesn't kind of deteriorate into kind of awkward silence or kind of a fight, that in itself is really productive. And that flows from that understand your audience. So encourage discussion and with people where they're at. The third, you probably can't see it through my hair, connect climate change with value and values. So I think it's really important. So much of the conversation around climate change has always started with the science or started with, sometimes quite scary visions of the future. I always find starting a conversation with what matters to people, what is it that they value, they want to protect, they want to maintain, they want to see have a future, and what kind of value frame do they put around it? Are they really concerned about equality and equity? Are they concerned about security and safety, self-interest, community? It kind of doesn't matter because climate change is so all-encompassing and multifaceted. It's not very difficult to find a way to connect action on climate with the things that people value and their values. The fourth, balance loss and gain. It's not just a kind of a communicating on climate change. It's not just about being relentlessly positive, although positivity gets you, a lot of engagement and enthusiasm. We do have to recognise that things have been lost and will continue to be lost, and people don't change unless there's something at stake. So we do have to balance what's been lost and what we have to act to protect and what can be gained from climate action. And that can be different for different audiences and different depending on what aspect of climate change we're talking about. And finally, hope is other people. We don't want people to think that saving the world depends on, whether they recycle properly all the time or bring a cake back up or all those kinds of things. While all those things are important, we have to continuously show how individuals coming together as groups of people, that's where the power is. Whether they're voters, whether they're workers, whether they're community members, doesn't matter. We have to show the power of collective action to bring about significant and substantial change. So I'm all about showing how motivated groups of individuals can almost do miracles, almost pull off things that we don't think are possible, whether that be small businesses, big businesses, communities that are coming together to demand change from their elected representatives, people who are creating microgrids across all parts of Australia, all kinds of things like that. So anyway, so to the extent that is helpful to you, those are my 5 principles of climate change. And like anything, you learn by doing. So go out, talk, listen, encourage those discussions in all parts of your life, and look for some fantastic case studies that illustrate that hope is other people from Greenpeace's hub with all those amazing solutions.